Welcome in the workroom with Manny. That's right. Here we go. We're with Corinne Acampora. Corinne, we have a long history together. I remember Mom saying to me, "Do you remember that girl and her sister growing up in Framingham? Your father coached her sister, and so." And as soon as you walked in, I knew who you were.
Yeah.
But we both grew up in Framingham.
Mm-hmm.
I think your sister was in the same grade as my sister.
I think you and my sister might have overlapped 1 year.
Yes.
Before you went to high school. She stayed in Framingham and you went.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. But I remember when, and we had a mutual friendship as well. I think it was something to do with my mom and tennis or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact connection, but I remember when you just started out in this business.
Mm-hmm.
Corinne, tell us a little bit about how did interior design come to you? How did you come to it?
Yeah. How much time do we have?
We've got 7 hours.
Okay, perfect. It was not a straight line, I will tell you that.
Yeah.
But from a very young age, I was just talking about this over the weekend with my husband, it's just been part of who I am.
Yeah.
So both of my parents worked a lot, and I got a lot of my work ethic from them.
Yeah.
But what that meant for me, and actually in a really good way, was that I was home by myself a fair amount in like middle school,
Yeah.
And thank God for that, because I got bored. And what would happen when I got bored is that I would rearrange my entire house and my parents would come home from work and they'd be like, "Oh, okay, I guess we're doing this." I'd push the furniture around. My most extreme and proud moment was, was when I decided to rip out my wall-to-wall carpeting in my bedroom by myself. That was a massive undertaking, and I knew there were beautiful hardwood floors underneath.
I've never heard the story before.
Yeah, no, this is real. So I pushed a small bedroom, so not a ton of furniture, but I did. Pushed all my furniture out into the hallway, and I took my carpet out strip by strip. The only thing I couldn't do was take the tack strips out.
Yeah,
I needed help with that. Yeah. But then I put it all back, tack strips kind of still in place, and I schlepped all of the carpeting down to the garage. And when my parents got home, they were like, "Oh, okay, this one's a new one."
Yeah, this is good.
But that I was probably in like middle school when that happened.
Wow.
So it was just, it's always kind of been part of who I am, and those are some funny stories, but I look back and I'm like, they were actually meaningful, because I figured that when I rearranged stuff, it felt different and it made me feel better to have things in place just how I wanted them.
Yeah.
So it's always been part of me. But so I went to college I went to Syracuse for interior design, and I was in that program for 2 years. But they told me I couldn't study abroad, which was not okay with me. Fabulous program. Still, I really, that was the only thing that didn't really work for me. And I felt like I really needed a bigger worldview to understand why interior design was important. And I struggled with that question a lot, actually. And so I switched out to the College of Arts and Sciences, and I studied abroad in Hong Kong and then in Beijing.
In Hong Kong and Beijing?
Yes. So I did that, and I graduated with history and political science and thought I was going to law school. So I took a turn. And then when I graduated, I worked at some big law firms, litigation firms in New York City, for a few years as a paralegal to see if I wanted to go to law school. Not my bag. I'm really glad that I did not do that. But after that, I decided to go back to school for art business, actually. I went to Christie's in New York, and I graduated right when everything kind of tanked. So in like 2008, 2009, I was working in like one of the, highest end luxury businesses. I worked for them, and then they cut like at least 30% of their workforce overnight when that happened, which was me. I was like last in, first out kind of thing. So
Yep.
I had to pivot again. And sorry, this is a long-winded story.
No, it's
but
great.
but around the same time, my husband and I got engaged. I went back and worked for a law firm just because I needed to make some money and kind of regroup. But then he went up to Cornell for business school, and I almost stayed in New York to continue working because I was like, what the heck am I going to do up in Ithaca? But of course, I ended up going with him, and we're kind of late to find a place to live, and but what we did find was this big, beautiful Victorian home. We thought it was an apartment within the building, and it turned out to be the whole building. It was 7 bedrooms. We're like, we're just married. We have no business renting this thing. But the cool part was that the people that owned it lived across the street. They had just bought it, kind of fixed it up a little bit, and they wanted to move back in. It was a bigger home than theirs, but they wanted to renovate it and move back in. And so I said, well, I really want to get back into interior design. Let me work with architects, kind of work on renovating it while I'm there. And I did that, and they took whatever time I worked off of our rent. So we lived there for almost, a couple $100 a month the entire time Brian was in business school. And that's how I built my first portfolio. And actually I started a business. I got a couple of clients up there. Yeah, so that was really my way back into interior design. And then when I moved back to Boston, I worked for another designer for a bit, and then ultimately started my business 11 years ago.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, I was, back to your pulling out your own rug. Was there hardwood underneath?
Yes.
I was thinking to myself, I was like,
oh God,
what-
just subfloor.
Just subfloor. What do we do now?
It was hardwood floor, and I knew that. Had I not been sure, I would not have taken that risk without my parents knowing.
Can you imagine? Oh.
No, I can't.
No, I've been there. Yeah. Yeah, pulling out a rug is not easy because the thing is, it's like once you pull it up, you don't know what to do with it.
I know.
It's huge and stiff and rigid, and you can't.
Yeah.
And it's a two-person job.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
I found out that day. I got it done though.
You just mentioned 11 years. Like I said, I remember when you first came to us, when you moved. Tell me a little bit about you came back to this. How'd you end up back in this area?
So when Brian was in business school, we had our first child. We had our son. And he at that point was in consulting, so he was on the road 4 days a week. And all of our parents lived back in this area.
Okay.
And so we knew we were going to want to be close, with our kids, close to our parents, for not just their help, but just so that our kids could grow up around them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
10 years. For us, as your drapery workroom, you've been one of my top clients, and certainly the one thing. I had a conversation with one of your employees recently, and they said, "Corinne is the best person to work for," and we were talking a little bit, and she lives out of town, and I was touched by the story that you were able to, you were smart enough and accommodating enough and kind enough to figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
And I was touched by that, because as a fellow business owner, you hope that your employees like you and respect you and love you. And she, and I, when I saw her, I was like, hey, what's it like? When do you come back to, this? And I was impressed that you made that work out.
Yeah.
And your whole team, for that matter, they're all great. And I particularly loved your last photo shoot.
Oh.
I know it's been a couple of years now, but
Yeah.
there was a lot of power in that photo, right? You guys looked really badass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was the idea.
Yeah, I loved it. You looked like there was like some serious gusto behind that group.
Yeah.
Like you were going to design with guts.
Yeah.
And, I loved it.
Thank you.
I loved it. That was really good.
That was a really fun photo shoot. And what I said to all of the ladies was, look, like, we work really hard and we do a great job, and what I cared so much about with that photo shoot in particular was that everybody just brought their best selves. This was not like oh, let's all wear this color or that color, and this is all about us as a cohesive brand. Us as a cohesive brand is that we are all individuals doing our best jobs.
Yeah.
And so that was the only direction I gave them. I said, if you want to wear jeans, great. If you want to wear a ball gown, fantastic. You just look and present like in the way that you feel the best and the most authentic.
Yeah. Speaking of authentic, I saw on Instagram recently. I saw something about you guys decorating. It looked like there was like nine Christmas trees in there.
I know.
No,
this is new.
Everyone decorated in their own way.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Well, so you know those like random. I don't even know what they're called, but they like put groups together randomly. They're like apps or whatever.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I had 3 different groups of people, and I gave everybody a budget, and I said, figure out however you want, whatever your theme is for a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Here's your money. Go do whatever you want and surprise everybody. So we got a Barbie tree. That was really fun.
I saw that. That was very funny.
We got like an old-fashioned nostalgic tree with lots of tinsel and a rainbow tree. So those were the 3 things that three trees that came out of that, which I thought was super fun. And like, while we work really hard and we take work really seriously, of course, we've got to have some time to blow off steam. And like, not like, our Christmas trees are beautiful, but they're not serious either.
Yeah. No, it's fun.
They're just fun.
But that's important. It's great team building, and you're right. It takes everybody, because some of the projects I've worked on with you are 2-3 years long, 18 months.
Yes.
And it's a lot of focus and a lot of grind and a lot of details and determination.
Yeah.
No, it helps to have a little bit of time to.
I know. We have to do it.
Yeah, it's really important.
I'm not the best at it. I'm trying really hard to get better at it.
I know, me too. I was in another podcast I did. I asked the designer, I said, "What do you do for yourself?" And for me, Corinne, I've been trying to take care of myself a little more and to be a little kinder to myself. I tend to be my biggest enemy. How about you? Do you have some time to do something for Corinne?
I try really hard. I've gotten better at it over the years. Yeah. I think what I've realized though is if I don't take care of myself, first of all, everybody's watching you as the owner of the company. So if I'm not taking care of myself, then they're going to see that that's kind of what I stand for. Yeah. And I don't want anybody to emulate that, actually. I really care about bringing my best energy every day. And so in order to do that, I meditate in the morning.
Oh, nice.
I write. I would be lying if I said I did that every day, but I really do try to kind of set my intentions, because I find that if I don't do that, the day will just get away from me, because there are so many things, people, projects, all needing your attention, and you want to bring the best of yourself to all of them. But if you don't set your intentions or if I don't set my intentions at the beginning of the day, it can kind of, feel like I got to the end of the day and didn't accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. So yeah, that's kind of the biggest thing.
I had the pleasure of doing work at your sister's house.
Oh, yeah.
And like you, your sister is also one of the coolest people I've ever met.
Oh.
Yeah. And I sense a great bond between the two of you. And I have a sister who's a year younger than me. I also thought it was very wise that you didn't design your, the first home, yes, but the second home, no.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up with your sister? Were you close? She's also a very sharp, dynamic, really cool person.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that.
It's such a good question. My sister and I, we get along really well.
Yeah.
We're totally different, and we both respect each other's differences, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
She's a total powerhouse person. She's been incredibly successful in her own right, done really well. But yeah, so it was so much fun to kind of help with her first house, but it was truly a collaboration, like most of our projects are. Like, I always have a hard time taking credit or having our team take credit for these homes because we really like to approach them as a true collaboration. And then the second one, when she moved, you know, we came to that decision together, and well, I'm always kind of like in the background if she has questions, we're like, yeah, do that, or don't, you know, whatever. It's such a creative and expressive endeavor when you're designing a home that with family sometimes it can be tough, and you just want to make sure to maintain the right kind of boundaries sounds like kind of harsh, but they kind of are. You want to like, I really felt like it was important to give her this, just make sure that she had the space to creatively express herself in a way that felt completely authentically her without kind of my influence, really. And you know, I think sometimes that happens with like family, sometimes that happens with really close friends, where it's just better, you know. And it has been, and her house is insane. It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. No, I thought that was very wise. I remember when we got the call from the designer, and I was like, I wonder why Corinne's not doing it. I'm like, I know why Corinne's not doing it, because she's really smart.
Thanks.
You said 11 years earlier. I'm going to bring it up again. I remember, so you moved into the building we were in before we moved here. And it was so exciting because we had you right downstairs.
I know,
you know?
We loved when you guys were neighbors. We miss you.
And the part that was eating me up inside was I knew I was looking at this building and I was trying to make the move. And I was like, oh, this is going to be really upsetting to be like, oh, we're together, now we're apart again. But tell me a little bit about 2025. Tell me a little bit about 2030. Tell me where you envision your brand and where the business will be, and some things that, you know, for you to look forward to, and growth and things like that. And
totally. So the philosophy that I've always kind of lived by when it comes to my business and really in life is really one of reflection. And so in order to grow, you know, and so 2024 was a lot of that. We had a lot of really wonderful projects, big long-term projects that are now kind of wrapping up. And we had some changes to our team. And so 2024 was an interesting year, you know. It's like because like you said, our projects are like 2 or 3 years long. So when we started a project 3 years ago, we're a completely different firm now, you know. And so it's really interesting now to kind of reflect back, see what worked, what didn't work, what we could do better. And I think so going forward, this is something we've never done. We kind of always reflect in real time, but early in January, I'm so excited. It's the first time, and it's kind of ridiculous. We haven't done this before, but it's the first time we're going to clear the calendar for an entire day and have kind of roundtable discussions, break out into different groups or whatever, and talk about some different parts of the business that we think could improve, and what's going well, what's not, and really like come up with we have a running list of best practices, but really make some pivots. And then also, we're excited. There are a lot of really exciting things on the horizon. So we tend to work on these, like you said, these kind of very large-scale, complex projects. And we love them. And we're so grateful to work with those clients. And we always want to have those projects. They've been what has allowed us to build the business. But there's such a huge, there are so many projects that we want to work on. And I think our process is really conducive to those long-term, very complicated projects. And I think what we're working on right now is an offering for kind of another tier of clients where we help them exactly how they need to be helped, not too much, not too little, and really find that kind of middle ground so that we can help more people. We're also thinking about kind of a virtual design offering where it's pared down even more. So we're not taking any of the measurements. We're not interfacing with subcontractors or contractors even. But really, I mean, so many designers do this right now. But offering kind of a room, a package. So it's a much more pared down version of what we do. But I think that could help a lot of people.
Oh, definitely. I love the idea because you're right. Some of the projects we've done recently are from the window treatments to the tile to it's every single detail.
Yeah, every detail. Yeah.
Every detail.
Yeah.
From where do the light switches go to where are we going to hang the draperies to all that stuff.
Yeah.
But that's exciting though, because then I bet you get a lot of calls in the office or emails saying, I want to redo my dining room.
Right.
And, can you help me with it?
Yeah.
And that way that'll give you the tools to do that.
Yeah. And different kind of ways that work for the client and for us. Like some clients want to purchase everything themselves, and if that's what they want to do, great. Here are the pieces. You go procure everything, but here are our ideas. So really trying to figure out a way to have a greater impact actually for more people.
Yeah, that's really smart, Corinne. I like that because it's another revenue stream, right? So it's like I always think about that too. We talk about here, maybe it'd be nice if we had a little more commercial work. Maybe it'd be nice if maybe we sold some pillows online or something like that. Little things like that to create different areas to, because you're right. Some of these projects, you're sitting on them for a long time before you start seeing, anything getting ready to go get installed.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Corinne, tell me a little bit about you personally. I always talk about food and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I like food a little too much these days, but
we all do, Manny.
We all do. For you, with the holidays coming up, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Thanksgiving and Christmas time, Mom makes sweet potato casserole.
Okay.
I don't know how Mom figured out how to make this.
Okay.
Mom has a way, like last night she had my cousin over from Ohio and his family, and she made this like amazing like spaghetti and beef stew thing, and I was like, Mom, did you have something to follow? She's like, no, I just figured it out.
Right.
And she's like, I made that a little bit spicy. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, good, Mom. But it was amazing. It was amazing. So she made sweet potato casserole one year. It has this crusty top. It's got condensed milk in it.
Yeah.
It's definitely about, probably 2,000 to 3,000 calories a serving.
And delicious.
But it is so good. You can eat it cold. You can eat it hot. It's like, do you have a go-to dish like that you just like look forward to and love?
That's a good question. So every year, actually, okay, this is a relevant question because my husband and I just figured this out like on Saturday. But we're always doing this every time. So every year we host an event, a family event for Brian's whole family. He's got a big family up at our place in Vermont, and typically it's 3 nights. This year it was 2 nights. We go out to dinner one night, and historically we've gone out to dinner both nights, but this time we went out one night and we cooked the other night. And so, I mean, we're feeding for us it's a lot. We were feeding 15 people. Fine. But we made a beef tenderloin. It was so good. It was so delicious, and so it was just a nice way to feed a huge crowd with potatoes and green beans and whatever else. But it was just a lovely meal. So I feel like we'll continue to do that. It was a big hit, and that's all you have to crowdsource and see how people react. But everybody liked it. It was quiet during dinner, which is
something good went down. Yeah. No, and beef tenderloin's a great one because you cook it all at once. You can feed a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart.
It doesn't actually take too long.
Yeah. I like that one.
Yeah.
You're a mom too. Mom first, right?
Yeah.
How do you find how do you balance the work-life balance? I struggle with it, but I've been a lot better at it lately.
Yeah.
Sometimes, no matter what, I don't care what's going on. I'm out. I'm going.
Totally.
I'm going to do this. How about you? How is that for you?
I mean, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm being totally honest, and it's the best kind of struggle, though. It's like there's so much abundance. We have our 2 kids. We have 4 dogs.
I didn't know you had 4 dogs.
Yeah, we have 4 dogs. We adopted another one. We've had him for about a year, and he's the sweetest. He's a standard poodle and huge and dopey and amazing, and he's so cute. But so I incorporated my business when Millie was only 3 months old. So she's 11 now. And for a long time, you know, my mom, like we've had help, you know, my parents will help, Brian's parents will help. But we didn't have consistent help. And you know, we've had other people in our life, so I don't want it to come off like we have done it all by ourselves. That would not be true. We've had amazing people, but consistently over the years, we haven't really had like someone. Our daughter was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes 6 years ago, and so that Brian and I both felt like we really needed to be, you know, heavily involved with everything. I mean, of course we would anyway, but more so than we may have expected, both having full-time jobs. So for a while, I don't know. People would ask us how we did it, and to be honest, I don't have a great answer. It was just really, really a lot and stressful. And like you said, like, you know, thank God for the team of women that I work with, because they were really able to pick up the slack for me if I needed to be out or somewhere. And now so for about a year, we've had a woman helping us, Tracy. We adore her. We frequently call her our MVP, because with our kids being older, it's like parting them around to wherever. But we always try very hard. And again, it doesn't happen every night, but most nights we eat dinner together.
That's wonderful.
Because we have to come together. You know, it's the first thing, you know, our biggest priority. So, but yeah, but you know, it's growing a business. It's been challenging, of course, but so rewarding. And part of what's so cool about this particular industry is the kids understand it. Even from a young age, they can see it, you know, and they get it. It's Brian and I laugh because he's like, they don't know what I do, you know, and it's like, I don't even know what you know, it's harder to explain. So in that way, it's been pretty cool to be in this industry with them too.
That's
watching.
Nice. Yeah, my boys too. They started to, whenever they need money, you know. Hey, Dad, isn't there someone I can go out for an installation with? So like, you know, especially
nice.
my oldest son Theo, he'll tag along pretty often now. And yeah, it's nice. They get what I do too, you know, for the most part. But whenever I buy gear for the guys, for the installers, I buy their size as well.
Oh, that's great.
So, and one of my sons is like, "Geez, Dad, this last sweatshirt you got from from LL Bean is really nice." So he wears it every day to school.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, with a little logo on it. So,
excellent. That's great.
Corinne, I feel like I grew my business with you because of you.
Right
because
back at you.
You know, many of the designers I work with, but particularly with you, you're one of the kindest and smartest people I've worked with.
Manny.
And I look up to your leadership because I see it in your team. You know, thank you for coming and joining us today. And I look forward to this next phase of your business that's going to be released in 2025. And thank you for coming.
Thank you, Manny. It's so nice to be here. And right back at you. I could not have grown my business the way that we have without you and everything that you do. And I say the same thing about you to my whole team. Every time your name comes up, it's inevitably followed by, "Oh, we just love Manny." He's the best.
Thank you.
Which is true. Yeah, no, it's true though.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.